Hello and welcome to another episode of Mysteries with a History, where I'll take you on a wild ride into the unknown, the strange, and the mysterious. I am on a journey of learning, of curiosity, and like you, I have questions. Like you, I want answers. First, I want to say hi to everyone in the live chat. Hello, how is everyone doing? Let me take a look at. Is that better? Can everyone hear me a little bit better, guys? My bad. How is everyone? Exofa, Deborah, Enzo, Zero Cool. How is everyone? Curious George. I want to say thank you to all my moderators for making this show so much easier. I could not do it without you guys. John aside, I see everyone here. Welcome, welcome. We got a lot to talk about today because today is about plane disappearances and missing pilots. What's going on? Have aircraft over the decades been disappearing into wormholes? Are they being taken by extraterrestrials? Do they end up traveling to distant epochs of time? Or are there just conventional explanations? Before we dive into that, let me bring in my extra special co-host, Mr. Jimmy Church from Fade to Black. Jimmy, how you doing? Is that gum? Well, can you tell me what is it? What is it, Jimmy? If it's not gum.
Jolly Ranchers. Yeah.
Oh.
So, how you doing? How was your Thanksgiving? How was the weekend?
Working. How was yours?
Oh, I worked. Yeah, I worked. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. But did you have a good time? I look all bright. Hold on for a second.
It's because you are bright and the light. Yeah. What's your favorite Jolly Rancher flavor? I like the blue raspberry ones. Mainly because it stains my mouth blue. I just find that fun as a child.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But until I get my lighting right, I'm just not going to feel. See, now I'm all cash. I got to go watermelon. Watermelon top. Then apple, sour apple, Jolly Ranchers. I think we're right there. Then cherry. The cherry is really good, followed by grape. And I kind of stopped there. The cinnamon is pretty good.
Blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry's good. It's good. It's just it's
it's below grape, the flavor of medicine.
One, yeah, who said that? That's actually good. That's actually good. Yeah. See, I think everybody is kind of with me on this. I think watermelon is for me. I don't know why that is. But
have you tried the Jolly before we even start? Have you tried the Jolly Rancher gummies?
Are you kidding me? So at the last conference a couple of weeks ago, 2 bowls on my conference table, the Fade to Black booth, Jolly Rancher gummies.
Ooh. Those are pretty good. So were lightsaber gummies. Those are also pretty good.
These were the special ones from the pot store. Yeah. Oh. No, I'm kidding. See, you believe me. That would be really fun. Don't tell anybody. Just, man, these gummies are good. Yeah, only one. What? Why?
Be trashed.
Oh man. So okay. A little just for transparency here, okay? Just for transparency. A few minutes ago, I call up Christine. Christine texted me a picture
hours ago, and he never responded to my text.
Well, to me, it was 5 minutes ago. So don't throw me under the bus like that, because I'm running this story clean. It could go the other way. So anyway,
you already started it wrong by saying 5 minutes when it was hours.
So I call her up. At 2:25. Okay, right now it's 2:36. I called her up 11 minutes ago. And this I can show. Don't contest me, because I will show everybody the phone call, Christina. Okay, so I call her up and I said, hey, your studio is perfect. Everything that you do is wonderful. And I just want to say,
You did not say that on the phone.
very proud of the setup, and you listen, and it's just amazing, and it's just great. And so as I'm complimenting her, this is what Cristina says. She goes, "Church, we're on the air in 5 minutes." Right? I go, what time is it? I'm on the patio. I got my legs kicked up. I've got iced tea. I got the birds chirping, sun on my face. And she's like, "We're on the air now." I was like, I don't even have coffee. Click, and so I made coffee. All of this was 10 minutes ago. And but I got the coffee. I'm here. I've got Jolly Ranchers. I'm with Cristina. We haven't done a show in a couple of weeks because of the holidays. I hope that everybody.
Couple of weeks. Jimmy, it's just been 1 week.
To me, well, no. Okay, let's do the math.
No.
You want to count the days?
Okay, it's only been 1 week, and we're not going to get into this today. We got a lot to cover, but I want to say I'm also drinking a drink, and it's a strawberry milkshake from Chick-fil-A because they have the best on the planet.
Well played. Well played. That's a good call. But let's talk about these days. So the last show, which was on a Tuesday, then she was busy. She canceled Tuesday, and then Thanksgiving came up. So that's 3 days, then Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving weekend. And now we are here on Tuesday. That's 11 days. That's 11 days. You round that off to 2 weeks. And it's not the new math. This is what everybody does. So I would say that 11 days is more to 2 weeks than it is to 1 week.
Okay.
Are we clear?
I can feel that.
Okay, because it seems like it's been forever, and I miss hanging out with everybody. So, yes, okay, you're the host. It's your show, and you just laid down the law. Jimmy, stop yapping. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. By the way, can I just say this? The microphone stand and its presentation, photogenic, really, yes, really well. I wore your shirt last night, by the way.
I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, yes. When I saw it online, I'm like, this is the shirt. Aliens, noodles, what we talk about every single week.
It's the coolest shirt ever. It is the coolest shirt ever. So I wore it last night on the show. Thank you for that Christmas gift early. And thank you for that, Cristina. Very, very cool. And can I show everybody the one other gift that you got me? Nobody's seen it yet.
Go for it.
Can I do it?
I don't like to send, well, one, I'm like really bad at buying gifts for those that are listening, but I don't like sending them on Christmas Day because like you have all this other stuff and or it doesn't come in on time. So sending it like a month early, always the best. Always.
Okay, but, hold on. We've got to do this right. Here it is.
Okay, I'm ready. Yeah, it's an alien lamp. Hologram, but it's not a hologram.
An alien 3D lamp that changes colors. Yeah. There you go. Thank you for that. Okay, so now let's get to the show. What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about missing planes and pilot disappearances. Which is a relative, well, we're actually going to get into it. I'm not even going to say too much. So I'm going to start off with a brief explanation. It's not even a summary today because there are so many accounts. It's not just one account that it can't really be a summary for it. But let's just start off with the fact that aviation encounters with UFOs has been classified as a real aviation safety threat. And more pilots are talking about it. So much so that there has even been an American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics conference known as the AIAA conference held on August 6th of this year. Chris Plain, the head science writer for the debrief, covered the story on August 20th. And here's just a brief summary of that specific article. So the AIAA held a UAP-related safety meeting. The 6-member panel featured 3 scientists, including one from NASA, a European Space Agency project director, the director of space for the National Aviation Reporting Center on Anomalous Phenomena, and one former U.S. Navy pilot and the infamous Ryan Graves, who stated in a 60 Minutes episode that he was seeing UFOs on a daily basis. Now, we know that statement made waves in the media. And here was the takeaway from that 5-hour conference. And that is, 1, UAPs are real and a legitimate safety issue. The stigma around this subject still exists, but that is starting to change. Without more and better data, there can be no progress. And finally, scientists are the ones who need to rise up to this challenge. If you guys want to read the full article, I will place the link in the description box below after this live show. But for now, I will place the link in the live chat for those that want to go ahead and read it after the show. Gabriel, thank you. It says, keep up the good work and keep on smiling. Thank you so much. I had braces. That's why I smile all the time, because that was a lot of money to invest in. It's true. It's true.
Man.
So thank you. So
I had braces. I had braces when I was 30.
Oof.
Yeah, 33 years at that age. And my bottom teeth went crooked. Now I'm 58, right? But my top teeth,
still snazzy. Some pearly whites.
Pretty snappy. Pretty snappy.
Literally, as you snap into carrots.
Yes.
So
I wonder if ET, do they wear braces? Clear lines?
You'll have to ask them.
Invisalign. They use Invisalign probably.
I don't like Invisalign because you're like, take them out after every time you eat, and it's just not convenient. Jason22, thank you so much. It says, now that Jimmy has his coffee, he's ready to watch radar. Oh, that's a cool one. That's a cool one.
What is this? Everybody, is this like stand-up night, open mic night here? Just come on in and give us your best shot, and $5, and you can just write your comedy, test it out, see if people laugh. Looks like Jason's going to come in twice here. Okay. Oh no, it's the same one. Okay. I can't do a show without coffee. You know what? I want to get on. There's so many things and so many facets to this, and lots to talk about. But I need, it's not so much the coffee. I need the smell of the coffee. I just need to know that the coffee is there, right? That's all, and then it fires off all of those chemicals in the brain that make you feel good, whatever it is. And for me, it's the smell of coffee, and that's really it. Am I revealing too much?
No, the smell of coffee is nostalgic, and let me tell you, it smells amazing. Let's be honest here.
It does. It
smells so good, regardless if it's burned or not burned. If you make a mistake in the coffee maker, it smells really good. Exofa, thank you so much as well. Man, you guys are fantastic today. It says, if a plane vanished into a time vortex, it would probably end up in deep space because Earth would be in a different part of its orbit.
I was talking about that last night. I think
Renfield. Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. People, look, we're talking about vanishing planes and aircraft safety, and we're going to get into all of that. Let me talk about a couple of historical things that I think are part of the record, and one of them is Steven Spielberg. And so, if you go and watch the first 10, 15 minutes of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, there's a very interesting thing. And Truffaut, who is Jacques Vallée, he shows up on the scene, and they're somewhere in Mexico, and there's these planes that have just appeared. And the way that Spielberg wrote it into the script, because it's based on reality, is that the missing flight, Flight 19, which was, people correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like December 5th, 1945. I could be wrong, but
that's exactly the date.
Is it? Okay. So December 5th, 5 planes take off. I could be wrong. Could be 4, could be 6. 5 take off, routine training flight, and they head out, and that's it. Right? Done. They don't come back. Was this the Bermuda Triangle? Was this aliens? Don't know, but certainly the planes vanish and were never seen again. So back to the vortex. Okay. The way that Spielberg writes this into Close Encounters of the Third Kind is the planes were abducted by aliens, right? And we don't know, but now they've been returned like a gift, right? The ET has returned them back to planet Earth. Going back to like what Redford and I were talking about last night. There you go. Avengers. I think there were 5 Avengers. Love those planes, by the way. And so where did they go? And if you do go, while you are gone, one thing keeps happening. The Earth keeps moving, right? It's just moving around the sun. And so when you come back, whether you're backwards or forwards in time, or you've gone to another planet, whatever it is, when you get returned, you've got to know where the Earth is. You don't want to get returned to the same spot in space because you would be in space, right? and what if they dropped you off in the middle of the ocean? What if they dropped you off here? You know, and these concepts need to come into play constantly. And with these vortexes and things, I've always found that very interesting. We're going to talk more about that because a lot of these disappearances with different events did involve a vortex. It involved something atmospheric. Something was entered. Something happened. Plane comes out of the other side, hopefully, and returns, or is never seen again. And it's very interesting, and there's lots of cases about this. Okay, back to you, Cristina.
Well, you're completely right. With any of these stories that we'll be covering today, it goes back to the very first thing I said at the show. It's what's going on with these planes disappearing? Could they have disappeared into wormholes? Could it have been extraterrestrials like you had just mentioned? Could it have been that they were traveling to distant epochs of time? Or is it just a conventional explanation? Can all of these simply just be explained? And with Flight 19, that one I think is one of the more famous stories next to another one that maybe we'll be covering soon after. But yes, it did happen December 5th, 1945. And it was 5 craft, the US Navy Avengers bombers. So that I felt like was really interesting that in this particular story, I think for those that are kind of starting out, doing this kinds of research, you'll notice certain patterns, and either it might just be a normal plane, which kind of is an outlier, or it'll be more specifically planes that are related to the military of some sort, or that are possibly carrying weapons, or maybe even some nuclear materials. With this one, well, we know it's a US Navy Avenger, and it makes me question, let's just say an extraterrestrial did take this craft. Why did they do that? What was on that plane? What were on all of those planes? Because not only was Flight 19 taken practically, right? But also all of the people that were on there, and that was a 13-man crew. What happened to all of them?
Was this part of now? If we go to, I keep going back to Steven Spielberg, and the reason why I want to do that is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That movie is peppered with historical data that Spielberg has woven into the script, and of course, it's science fiction. It's fun. It's great, or is it science fiction? But there's a certain narrative that's woven into there that you need to pay attention to. And one of the overall storylines in Close Encounters is that these abductions happen, the planes have disappeared, things have happened, people were taken off planet in a deal with extraterrestrials, and who made that agreement? Don't know. Little trade going on, kind of like Project Serpo, which is this underlying feel of close encounters. And then in the end, the flight crew comes back. A lot of military personnel step off of on Devil's Tower, off of the ET craft, and the exchange is made and so forth. Okay, well, could that be what happened with Flight 19? Is it part of Eisenhower's deal and the treaty that was signed, and a certain exchange program is going on? There was two other things, and then I'm going to switch back to you for some other historical cases that I want to discuss. One was Gernon. Man, I want to say his name's Fred Gernon, Bruce Gernon, Brian Gernon. I'm an encyclopedia of knowledge, but sometimes the book is closed. But Gernon, 1970, he takes off. One of the most famous cases, one of the most interesting cases documented. He goes and he's like flying to Bimini, off the coast of Miami, and takes off, routine flight. And he encounters what he called electronic fog, and goes through this vortex. Time travels and returns back. And what should have been like a 1 hour flight is now, he should have run out of gas and everything. Well, there's that case. Where did he go? He drops off radar, right? That's a crazy case. Then we have the case in Australia. I'll think of the young man here in a second. Private pilot. He's in his own private plane, takes off, flies. I think he's he's flying out of Melbourne. Might have been Sydney. He's flying south over the ocean, encounters a UFO, calls the tower, says, "Hey, man, I got this flying saucer out here. And what am I going to do?" And then that was it. Vanished, gone, poof. Right? What do we do with cases like this? We're talking about a plane, right? We're talking about safety of a pilot and passengers and crew that have these crazy encounters. There's contact, there's radio contact, there's visual sightings, there's an explanation, there's radar, there's everything, and then all of a sudden, gone. How do you just lose a plane? Okay, continue. Another case.
And there's quite a few stories like that. But I want to go a little bit over about Flight 19. And
Sure.
There were several land radars stations finally determining that Flight 19 was somewhere north of the Bahamas and east of the Florida coast. And at 7:27 p.m., a search and rescue Mariner aircraft took off with a 13-man crew. 3 minutes later, the Mariner aircraft radioed to its home base that its mission was underway. The Mariner was never heard from again while looking for Flight 19. So that's kind of weird. And then later, there was a report from a tanker cruising off the coast of Florida of a visible explosion seen at 7:50 p.m. So you have the disappearance of the 14 men of Flight 19 and then the 13 men on the Mariner. Okay, on that as well. So that's quite a lot of people that had just simply disappeared in the same location. And with this story, it's amazing to also hear that a tanker cruising the coast saw a visible explosion. Makes you question what was going on.
Okay.
I mean, nothing returned.
Right. Okay, so let's back up for a little bit. Okay, so the area down there, and I've been to Miami many times. Okay, offshore and onshore. I'll save those stories for another time. But you can see the Florida coast. You can see Miami from just about anywhere you are at. You could practically see it from Cuba. Okay, so. And I'm not exaggerating. It's right there. It's Miami. It's Fort Lauderdale. It's the coast all the way down Florida Keys. You have a reference. We all have a built-in compass, right? And you can see the sun, and you know what's going east and west. And then you're flying, and you look to the left, and you know your orientation, or maybe you're flying south. You look to the right. There's the coast of Miami. You don't have to fly very far in any direction to get a point of reference, and that includes the Bahamas or Bimini or anything else that's out there. It's a pilot that or anybody. It doesn't matter. You know where you are. You have your bearings at all time. How is it possible that professional pilots on a training mission, 5 planes, take off and just get lost to the point where they run out of fuel? No matter what, if you go in one direction, in 5 minutes, you're over land. 5 minutes, not a half an hour, not an hour. You're right there. You're off I'm not exaggerating about this. You're flying at 150 miles an hour. You're a couple of miles off the coast. You make a turn. How long does it take you to see sand? 90 seconds, right? How is it possible? People swim from Miami to the Bahamas, right? How do you get lost? How is it possible? Well, it's not. It's simply not. How can all of the navigation, everything, how can your orientation be so twisted up? 5 planes, not one, 5. It's a group of 5, right? And
yeah, right. There shouldn't be a mistake.
Run out of gas now. But this is where it gets crazier. If that wasn't enough, the search plane, which was a PBM Mariner, so it takes off. It's a search plane, and they're looking in the general area. This is a search plane that, are you ready? It's a flying boat. It can land on the water. Are you on the same page? You can't. How do you crash a PBM 5 Mariner into the ocean? You don't. You float on. It's a flying boat. And it crashes, disappears during the search for the other 5 planes. Coincidence? It's bad enough to have 5 planes that just magically get lost and disappear and are never seen again. Then the search plane goes out and it disappears. A plane that is designed to float. It's a flying boat and it's gone. Yeah, this is one of the most insane cases of all time, and there's something to it. I don't know what it is. I don't. Vortex, UFOs, ET, Bermuda Triangle, ley lines under the ocean. I have no idea, but it's just an amazing documented fact. Something happened.
With that story, it would be very difficult to find a conventional explanation. And there have been 16 missing aircraft incidents officially cataloged as having occurred in the Bermuda Triangle between 1945 and 2017. That's quite a few. That is quite a few incidents. One other, I think we should cover one of the most famous stories of all time when it comes to missing planes and missing people on planes. You know who I'm talking about?
Malaysian Air.
Well, we will be covering that one.
I know we are. That happened live on Fade to Black. I'll never forget. I mean, that was a crazy 3-month run reporting on that every day. So what's your case?
Amelia Earhart.
Oh, yeah, her. Yeah. Yeah, pretty big case.
Well, it's one of the most famous of all time.
It is. Again, unexplainable. How can I would love for you to go over the historical facts about this, but her co-pilot, seasoned, she's there. I would say at that moment in time, we're talking about the most famous person in the world.
Oh, yeah.
The most famous person. That's it. That you don't just disappear. And not only disappear, but never, right? Never, nothing. All the evidence that has been recovered turned out to be non-evidence. I mean, all of it. I mean, everything. It's a crazy story. Okay, tell us about Amelia.
Sure, it'll just be a brief explanation because I feel like a lot of people have heard this story. But Amelia Earhart was an American aviator who set many flying records and championed the advancement of women in aviation. She became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean and the first person ever to fly solo from Hawaii to the US mainland. During a flight to circumnavigate the globe, Earhart disappeared somewhere over the Pacific in July of 1937. Her plane wreckage was never found. President Franklin D. Roosevelt authorized a massive 2-week search, but again, she was not found, nor was her plane. So then on July 19th, 1937, Earhart was declared lost at sea. And this happened decades ago, and it's still an unsolved mystery that kind of roll people up of what could have happened.
That's why I watch Gilligan's Island, because that was always the big reveal for all of these cases. We didn't even talk about Wrong Way Feldman. That's a okay. So anyway, Amelia Earhart. Let's. I have studied this case. I'm tangled up in my headphone cable. Fred Noonan, her co-pilot, their aircraft, which was absolute state-of-the-art, pressurized, beautiful plane, by the way. Lockheed. I just can't remember the model name. Okay. But anyway, beautiful plane, state of the art. Nothing should be going wrong. And Fred Noonan, very sharp. And both of them knew navigation, and both of them knew what they were doing. And if you're going to fly around the world like this, your charts are plotted. You need to refuel. You need to make your stops. Food. Sometimes you like to get out and stretch your legs a little bit. All of these things are thought through. This isn't just getting on the plane willy-nilly and saying, let's fly around the world and let's see what happens. No, this was covered by the press. This is worldwide news. This is the most famous person in the world. And the second most famous, Fred Noonan, a name that I have known my entire life. I have studied this case. So to suddenly have Fred, they were going to Howland Island in that area. All of a sudden, everybody's lost. Nobody knows where they're flying to. They've got other aircraft that is out looking for them, trying to guide them into the island. They've got boats and everybody. This is a famous flight, right? Everybody is following this flight. It just disappears, and Fred Noonan and Amelia. I mean, this isn't. They've been breaking records and doing solo flights all around the world. And can you hear that crackling?
Yeah.
You can hear the crackling in my microphone? It's just in my headphones, right?
No, I hear it. Oh,
you can? Okay, hold on. I think I got a dirty switch.
Okay, you're good.
Okay, so how is it possible that this string of unlucky incidents happen all in a row to the point where the plane just runs out of gas and disappears? I just and nobody saw it go down. Everybody's looking for the plane. Everybody, and it was just like it was gone before, like these radio transmissions. And this is how I've always pictured this in my mind, Christina. He's talking on the radio. He's talking to somebody, but that plane ain't even there. They're looking for something that isn't there. They're talking to somebody, right? But I think vortex, something came into play, alternate reality, whatever it may be. But that plane disappeared. They were talking on the radio, and they were looking for this. Is when you look at the transcriptions of the radio and the communications going back and forth, it seemed like, from what he was saying, that there were hundreds of people that should have been, yeah, we got you, we see you, right? That and nobody could find the plane. Nobody could see the plane. Nobody saw it crash. Nobody saw it come down. Nobody heard it. Nothing. So I think it was already gone. I really do. If something happened, it disappeared. The radio transmissions continued for a bit, but they were searching for something that should have been above their heads, and it wasn't.
I feel like that story is probably one of the most crazy, not just because it's one of the most famous, but it's been covered by so many movies, documentaries, researchers, articles, and it's just so shocking. How can that can just happen? How can that just happen?
Every square inch of ocean for hundreds of thousands of square miles was searched, all of it, and continues to this. Every island, every possibility, everything has been poured over and searched like no other search in the history of the world has gone down like it has for Amelia Earhart. And nothing, not her purse, right? I mean, nothing floated to the surface. Nothing showed up on any islands. Nobody made, the pictures that surfaced over the years and the rumors and all of it dead ends. Every last single thing. It's one of the most fascinating mysteries. And I don't know if we'll ever, I don't know. And what about, I want your opinion on this. Today we have a lot of technology. We do, right? We have Google Earth. We have mapping, sonar mapping of the oceans, all of the coastlines, all of the islands, all of the satellite photography, everything, all the technology, the submersibles, high-def cameras, battery-powered, remote. You talk about drones in the sky. We have underwater drones that you can buy on Amazon. We have technology everywhere. You would think. Now, we can go back to 1945 and say that there's some issues there with technology. It's a different world today.
It is.
How is it that nothing has been found? It's amazing. Well, maybe because she just disappeared.
Yeah, I haven't seen a conventional explanation for that. And you're right. When you're comparing it to so much technology that we currently have, how come we can't find that aircraft? Anything, because she's not the only aircraft. There are countless.
That's right.
Countless ones that have been lost at sea. And with all the technology that we have, why can't we find it? You're right. Now, there is another story that I feel like it's somewhat similar, even talking about how much area was covered to find it. And that was the disappearance of the Flying Tiger Flight 739 in 1962.
Mm-hmm.
During the preliminary stages of the Vietnam War, United States Army Flying Tiger Flight 739 vanished over the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean on its way to the Philippines from Guam. There were no distress calls received, and despite an exhaustive search party comprising 1,300 people, 48 aircraft, and 8 surface vessels, all of which covered about 150,000 square miles, nothing was ever found. And I feel like when you have that many people, that many resources covering that much area, it would be difficult to not find what you're looking for. And in 1962, that's a relatively decent time where people had good technology. I wouldn't say it was amazing compared to today, but enough to where you would be able to find what you're looking for. And there wasn't even an oil slick in the water, right? Usually when a plane crashes in the water, you're going to get an oil slick. And that's really easy to define because it floats, right? Oil floats.
Right.
But in this case, not even that was found. So is that another conventional explanation, or did they go into a wormhole?
Listen, let me be very clear about something, okay? So we can all understand and just get more pissed off. If something is there, we're going to find it. Found the Titanic, no problem. Russian submarine goes down. Russia can't find. We find it. We go, whatever. Undersea cable break. We find it. Russian undersea cable. We can find. If it's there, we can find it. We have not only sonar and radar. We have magnetometers and devices that could be floated around and looking for anything that's metallic on the ocean floor. If it's there, it's going to be found. It's that simple. You don't find it when it's not there. Okay, and I just need to be clear about that. If there is something metallic, we can find wooden 2,000-year-old Roman ships, right? We can find those. How is it that we can't find a plane that goes down, right? And we're going to talk about Malaysia in just a second. 2 planes, by the way, with Malaysia, oddly enough. But if something is there, physically there, we can find it. There isn't any excuses for it. And we do it all the time. If it's there, we're going to find it. If it's not there, we're not going to find it. Right? Flight 19, 5 planes, plus the PBM-5 Mariner, right? Gone. Just gone. Off the coast of Miami. We're not talking about the Mariana Trench, right? We're not talking about the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. We're not talking about, 500 miles off the coast of Antarctica in the middle of nowhere. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Miami. It's just, you know how many boats, pleasure boats, people are just cruising around off the shores of Miami? I'm going to tell you right now, it's in the thousands. That's how many boats are out there. People out there just having fun, sailboats, river yachts, this, small fishing, this, scuba diving, snorkeling. It's crazy. It just goes to the horizon. And you're just going to lose 5 planes in the middle of all that between the Bahamas and Miami. It's like a freeway during rush hour out there. You laugh. I'm just saying it's beyond compare. How is it beyond pale that this kind of thing can happen? If it's there, it's in the water. Doesn't amount. It's not about the depth. It's not about the location. If it's there, we can find it, and we will. We only find it if it's not there. We only don't find it if it's not there. I need more coffee.
We're going to have a short break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Micah Hanks, and let me tell you something. I support Cristina Gomez as a Patreon subscriber, and here's why you should too. She brings all of her unique insights to a whole new generation, and all while she's also going through college. Listen, support Cristina. Become a Patreon subscriber today. You won't regret it.
Hey there, it's Cristina. Did you know you can get access to an exclusive extra segment of additional questions and answers with all of my guests, as well as behind-the-scene videos and photos? Ever wonder how I turn my small college dorm apartment into a studio where I can shoot new videos or set up lighting and backdrops for my show, or what camera I use? Yep, that video is there too, where I explain as I go along and also give the story of how I learned to do special video effects and editing. You can get access to all of that and much more by joining my Patreon Supporters Club. You'll be helping by supporting this channel, my research, and production costs, as well as investing in new shows coming soon. Starting from as little as $5 a month, there are several tiers you can choose from that suit your budget, and each tier carries extra perks and benefits. Join my Patreon club and become a supporter today.
We are back.
Where can I sign up for that?
Right here.
I'm signing up. Tiers? Can I just go into maximum tier?
Yeah.
Well, is there a ramen level that's above max? Is there a ramen level? I'm all in. And I want to support you any way that I can. I'm all in. Everybody else, jump in. And remember, ramen and socks are the 2 things every
and
college.
Socks.
Yes.
I am wearing socks.
Every college student needs ramen and socks. I need you to do some commercials for me.
Okay.
Can I hire you to do? You know what? I have so many people doing stuff for me. They're probably listening, right? Church, why don't you use my stuff? Just trying to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, your stuff is good. Your production is great. Now, and thank you. Where can I click?
Wait, people are now saying ramen level for sure, as
Yeah,
long as
ramen
Jimmy
level.
keeps the Parmesan cheese out. And his name is Jimmy Church.
Says, do you dream in ramen? I do.
Ditto.
I
also do.
I've had ramen dreams. That is no joke, man. I love ramen. And it started when I was young. And before it is what it is today. We're talking about it was back, electricity was just invented. And so when this is going down, I remember we finally got lights in our cabin. We had a cabin up in the woods, me and the family, and we were trying to get the outhouse inside of the house because we had one light bulb in there, and I was trying to figure out how I could get this light bulb to cook my ramen noodles. That's all I had to eat, and it was a tough existence. It was really tough, but I learned very early on how tasty, how amazing, how incredible ramen is. And just the original pack, the original, right? Top ramen, the original.
Yeah, the good stuff.
The brick. That is right there. And I mean, where else can you go? 10 for $1, right? 10
Good
for
times.
a buck. 10 for a buck. I'm in. Okay.
But I'm not too fond of people eating it raw, like just eating the block without cooking it. That's like not my cup of tea, but everything in between is like pretty good.
So, okay, we got to get to Frederick Valentich.
Well, first,
no, stop. There is a video. I want somebody to post it up in the chat room right here. There is a video of a dude making a top ramen guitar. Yes. And he goes through, he's got the packages, and he mixes the noodles into acrylic, into a mold, and he builds a Stratocaster just like that, or this, right? The same body, and it's clear with ramen noodles in it. No word if it was chicken or beef, or if he used the season packets. I don't know about that part. But he makes this ramen guitar. You can look at it. It's incredible. I was like, man, what a great idea. Okay, next case.
I have to Google it. But first, let me say thank you to Stefan. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, super sticker. You are amazing. And then John, good to see you here, my friend. It says, seems lately disclosure might get shut down, especially when it comes to 2 abductions, missing people, returned dead, DNA manipulation, especially the growing number of hybrid females. The end game might be that we're being replaced. What do you think? Well, that's a lot in one. What do I think? I think it could potentially be possible, but there hasn't, to my knowledge, been enough sufficient public data that can be backed up to go ahead and state yes or no to that.
How can I share with you the ramen noodle guitar? How can I do this?
Okay, you're going to share your screen.
Okay.
You're going to press share on the bottom of your...
Okay, hold on. Let me do this. Okay, so I'm here. So if I move this over, I got to move me over to this computer screen. So if I click share, then how do I know what screen? Oh, I can click on it like this?
Yeah, you can click specifically on the picture and it won't show anything else.
Okay, is it showing now?
It is now. Here it is.
That's the ramen guitar. How cool is that? Are you impressed?
Yeah.
You're not that impressed. Okay.
But I imagined it to look less, more delicious. But back to what John said. I don't think disclosure will feature any of those things if they are true. I feel like that would be the best answer to give. When if disclosure does come by the government, which again I really doubt, it won't be covering those aspects.
How so? How so?
Well, for instance, wouldn't it be incredibly dangerous to state to your citizens that you can casually get abducted? Like, we have no control over that. Oh, and by the way, there's a ton of more missing people than you could have ever imagined. That's also going to be a part of disclosure. I think those kinds of aspects would add too much fear versus just kind of stating, well, yeah, okay, maybe extraterrestrials really are here. So it would be kind of difficult to say, but it would involve them having to reveal they know that such terrible things are going on and that have ridiculed witnesses. Okay, so that might make them look really bad as well.
Okay, I'm going to throw this out there. Okay, all right. I want you to take a guess. I'm just gonna throw this out there. In the United States, how many missing people in 2020? Just in the United States. Take a guess. Just take a guess.
Maybe 18,000.
660,000 people missing in the United States in 2020. 1 million in the year 2000. 1 million. Now, and you take that worldwide, and now we're dealing with 20, 30, 40 million people missing. Gone. Anybody can look up these numbers. All right. And this is from Statista. You can go to Worldometers. You can go to any statistical site out there and start looking up these numbers. I did a whole show on missing persons and the numbers, and most people don't understand how many children go missing, how many just wives just leave and never. Well, maybe she just wanted to get out of the marriage. Yeah, leave her kids, her dog, her job, walk away from everything, leave her purse at home 10 million times worldwide. I have issues with that. It's a crazy number. It's a huge number.
It is, and that's a big reason to why I follow Dave Paulides, because some of those have strange links with each other, and I feel like what he does, Missing 411, is a great source of information. You have unbelievable cases of people who go missing in national parks, hikers, athletic people, and leave without a trace. And like you said, they don't take a lot of in some aspects, in some stories, they don't take their belongings. Or if their belongings are found along the trail, the body's still missing. So I feel like he's one of the good sources of information to follow when it comes to missing people. Deborah states, Jimmy, I thought you discovered fire first. Right in front of you. Oh, that's so funny, Deborah Levine. You make me laugh.
I'm not sure what that means, but ramen, electricity. Well, it was tough. We didn't have fire when I was growing up as a kid. It was tough. It was a tough existence.
Enzo says he invented fire just to cook his ramen.
It was tough. No, actually, I had to go to another location. No fire. See, we had a cardboard box, and it was tough. It was tough growing up, and you couldn't have fire inside of a cardboard box, and it was tough. It was a tough existence. But I got it done, and I discovered ramen.
Yeah, well, there you go.
10 for a dollar. Where are we at? Okay. I'm not sure where you were going, but I'm going to tell you where I'm going. And that is the disappearance of Frederick Valentich in Australia. Mm-hmm. To this day, just like Flight 19, I think that this case is not only documented and well documented in there, but is one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of all time. And it's got every element in it that makes it intriguing. And I'm just going to read some of the facts of the case. And to hear this laid out as quickly from beginning to end as I'm going to present it here to you, you'll understand why this case is so just absolutely amazing. So Frederick Valentich, kid, by the way, he was a pilot, disappeared while on a 125 nautical mile training flight in a Cessna 182 registered VHDSJ. It's the registration numbers over Bass Strait on the evening of Saturday, October 21st, 1978. Described as a flying saucer enthusiast, 20-year-old Valentich informed Melbourne Air Traffic Control that he was being accompanied by an aircraft about 1,000 feet above him and that his engine had begun running roughly before finally reporting it's not an aircraft. There were reports of a UFO sighting in Australia on the night of the disappearance. However, the Associated Press reported that the Department of Transport was skeptical of a UFO that was behind Valentich's disappearance, and that some other officials speculated that he became disoriented and saw his own lights reflected in the water. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Or that, are you ready for this? That he just messed up and he was flying upside down. And he was looking at lights on the land. I'm not making this up. I'm
think you would know if you were flying upside down. I'm just going to assume that you would probably know that.
It says here, it says that, okay. The destination of his final flight was King Island, but his motivation for the flight is unknown. He told flight officials that he was going to King Island to pick up some friends, while he told others that he was going to pick up crayfish. Later, investigations found both stated reasons to be untrue. Valentich had also failed to inform King Island Airport of his intention to land there, going against standard procedure. Valentich radioed Melbourne Air Traffic Control at 7:06 p.m. to report an unidentified aircraft was following him at 4,500 feet. It was about 1,000 feet from his plane. He was told that there was no known aircraft at that level. Valentich said, and this is all recorded radio traffic. Valentich said that he could see a large unknown aircraft which appeared to be illuminated by 4 bright landing lights. He was unable to confirm the type, but said that it had passed about 1,000 feet overhead and was moving at high speed. Valentich then reported that the aircraft was approaching him from the east and said the other pilot must be purposefully toying with him. Valentich said that the aircraft was orbiting above him and that it had a shiny metal surface and a green light on it. Valentich, remember, this is all over the radio. He's giving them a full description of everything that is going on. Valentich further reported that he was experiencing engine problems. Asked to identify the aircraft, Valentich radioed, "It's not an aircraft." His transmission was then interrupted by unidentified noise described as being metallic scraping sounds before all contact was launched. A sea and air search was undertaken that included ocean-going ships, an RAFF Lockheed P-3 Orion, one of the most state-of-the-art radio radar planes that we still use today, plus 8 civilian aircraft. The search encompassed over 1,000 square miles. Search efforts ceased on the 25th of October, 1978, without result. There you go. Just disappeared. And you would think, off the southern coast of Australia, on the way to King Island, enough air traffic, enough boats in the water. It's not out in the middle of the ocean. It's not any of that. That they would be able to find his plane. Or if it was a hoax and he flew his plane somewhere else and just tried to play a trick on everybody. Plane with the tail never showed up. He just disappeared.
Is there a conventional explanation for that? Do you think?
Yeah, he disappeared. He was disappeared.
That's insane. And the fact that he was able to radio in before his disappearance to state what he was seeing and how it looked and what was going on is one of the very rare stories that that has happened. A lot of the cases and stories that we have covered and that hopefully that we will cover, a lot of the times these craft don't look like they're under any kind of distress. Everything looks normal. One moment they're here, next moment they're gone. But in this case, in your story, he could tell everything what was going on. It's pretty crazy.
Now, now check this out. It has been proposed that Valentich staged his own disappearance, even taking into account a trip between 30 and 45 minutes to Cape Otway. The single-engine Cessna 182 still had enough fuel to fly about 500 miles. Despite ideal conditions, at no time was the aircraft plotted on radar, casting doubts to whether it was even near Cape Otway. And Melbourne police received reports of a light aircraft making a mysterious landing not far away from Cape Otway at the same time as Valentich's disappearance. All of that hearsay, circumstantial. Right. Where's the plane? Where's the tail number? So it landed. The police, did they show up at that airport? What's this mysterious landing? How can a plane anywhere, Australia, right? We're not talking about in the middle of the Brazilian rainforest. We're talking about Australia. How can a plane just land mysteriously and the police don't show up? Right? Try to mysteriously land a plane full of drugs. Right? You're going to get found. There's no way. It doesn't happen like that. And no follow-up, nothing else. And so you've got a missing person. He's never been seen again. So Valentich is gone. And you have a report of a mysterious plane landing, and he may be faking his own disappearance. Insurance companies get involved. Everybody's in play. There's a lot of investigation going on. None of that happened. He never showed up. Right. So all of this is just circumstantial hearsay. It's fascinating to me. Another proposed explanation is that Valentich became disoriented and was flying upside down. Yeah, right. Disoriented. Flying upside down. Okay, so anyway, if this were the case, the lights that he thought he saw would be his own aircraft lights reflected in the water, right? And by seeing that, he would have then just crashed in the water. Now, somebody is trying to use this as a story, right? However, the model Cessna he was piloting could not have flown inverted for as long as a gravity feed fuel system would work, right? Okay, meaning that its engine would have cut out very quickly. Yet another proposed possibility is suicide. However, interviews with doctors and colleagues who knew him virtually eliminated this possibility. The 2013 review of the radio transcripts and other data by astronomer and retired United States Air Force pilot James McGaha and author Joe Nickel proposes that the inexperienced Valentich was deceived by the illusion of a tilted horizon, tilted horizon, for which he attempted to compensate and inadvertently put his aircraft into a downward graveyard spiral, which he initially mistook for simply orbiting of the aircraft. According to the authors, G-forces of a tightening spiral would decrease fuel flow, resulting in rough idling reported by Valentich. I don't buy into any of this. Cristina, you just posted pictures of you piloting an aircraft. You were taking flight lessons. By the way, did you get your pilot's license? Those were impressive photographs. So she's now trained in planes and helicopters. I saw the pictures myself. And but have you piloted a small plane? Have you been up in a small plane yourself?
No.
Really? Okay. All right. I was hoping you'd say yes. There's an experience. I'm being serious. There's an experience that you have in a small plane. I've done it not hundreds of times, but I've done it many times. And I've been able to fly. In that, the pilot, I'm sitting next to him, and he's like, stick is yours, dude. Go. What? Right? Okay, I'm flying the plane. Well, I've done this. And I've done this a few times in my life, and it's extraordinary and it's fun. And it's also really hard to screw up. And I can't imagine. Now, of course, planes crash, and I understand that. But if you're flying a plane and you're just cruising along, you're not going into a suicidal death spiral, right?
Yeah.
These things. No, you're not flying upside down. Oh, I'm upside down. What? You don't know that you're upside down? I think you know if you're upside down, right? When
I
you're
would hope so.
Christina, when you're upside down, you know you're upside down.
Yeah, because all the blood flows to your head and you feel that pressure. Like, you can't deny that.
It is, if you're flying upside down in a plane and your hair is like this, right? I think you kind of know you're upside down when your coffee is spilling on the ceiling, right? I think you know you're upside down. You just don't know. No. Stop with all of that. Stop with all of that. And he disappeared. No body, no plane, no aircraft, no this, no that. Listening to, I really like the metallic scraping sound when he says it's not an aircraft. That's the last thing he said. It's not an aircraft. Scraping sounds, done.
Makes you question what the heck. I mean, even with all these potential explanations, if there's no craft, if there's no body found, how could you have such explanations to begin with? Regardless of if they're true or not, it would be hard for them to be true if you don't have any evidence to back up those claims. First, I would like to say thank you so much to NP for the super sticker. Good to see you, my friend. And there's another story that I find, I guess I could kind of correlate with this one in the sense of if that was a suicide mission or something, or maybe this person really did want to die. Okay, well, I feel like in this instance, it would make a lot more sense. And this is the disappearance of the Vancouver Douglas DC-4. So the Douglas DC-4 departed from Vancouver in 1951 and was due to stop at the Anchorage airport in Alaska. The weather worsened with a visibility of just 500 feet. So that's pretty extreme. If you can only see 500 feet in front of you, that's incredibly dangerous. Regardless if you have radar or not, it's not a pleasant thing to be a part of. So an emergency warning was issued, and then it was too late to report. There was no trace of the craft or occupant, and nothing was ever found. I feel like in this story, it would make more sense to state, okay, this is more of a natural cause. The weather was really bad and maybe the plane crashed. The only downfall to this story and almost every other story that we have encountered, the craft was never found. And with the technology at that time and even in present day, which we all know that a lot of these mysteries that have been going on for decades, there are a few people that still carry it in their heart and they're going to keep searching for it no matter how many decades pass. So in 1950 or in present day, if that craft really did crash, it would have been found by now. But it wasn't, even with the dreadful weather. Now, this actually reminds me also of one of the episodes in the Twilight Zone where the weather is incredibly awful. The plane goes straight through it and it comes out on the other side and they're in a different reality altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another movie like that where two pilots go into a same situation and they come out seeing dinosaurs. I can't remember what movie that was in, but that was also pretty bizarre as well.
The Land That Time Forgot.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. Made it up.
Oh, well, I would have been like, okay, that sounds about right. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I'm going to make an announcement right now. I want my own super chat donation right here. So I want and it's got to have my name in it. So the first person that says Jimmy kicks butt on Histories with the Mystery and gives me 3 red hearts and $20, I'll send you a t-shirt. I'll autograph it.
Dang.
Right here. I want to see it right now. The money goes to Christine, but I need the satisfaction, and I'm going to take a picture of it too. Okay, I got my camera ready. Come on, let's make this happen.
Well, Enzo and Boiled Egg, love that name, have stated that that movie came from the Land of the Lost. So you're relatively close, Jimmy.
Was that the Land of, no, the Land of the Lost was that was a TV series. Man, don't mess with that's the Mandela effect. Right? Land of the Lost. That was a TV series with the Slee Stacks, but also the same kind of vibe. That was on a river. Don't mess with my head, right? Or do I have this wrong? Okay, I need my I need my $20 to Christina. You get a T-shirt autographed.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'm waiting.
And Eco Prod said, "No, that's a movie, Jimmy."
Man, Iku, you got to leave the house. Land of the Lost. That's it. TV series.
But I mean, what I'm getting at is that story in particular, and certain movies that have come out either way back in the day or in present day. It seems like a lot of them are related to stories that have happened, and I don't know. Laszlo says, "Talk about Project Serpo."
We just did. Laszlo, you got here early or late. Land of the Lost, 1974 TV series. Land of the Lost is a children's adventure television show created by blah, 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 Sid and Marty Krofft on Saturday mornings. It's a live action. I'm reading right here. Shall I continue? You guys, you want the logo?
No.
I will do the logo. Can I share this screen?
Yes. Well, yes.
How do I do it? Okay, so I do this and then I go, oh, here's stop screen. Okay, so then I go share screen. Yeah. Right. Okay, man, I'm such a doofus, man. I am such a doofus. Okay, did that work?
It's loading. Yes, here we go.
Okay, all right. Oh, hold on. Okay, so now do it.
Okay.
There it is.
Land of the Lost. I think there's like I don't know.
Okay, see, I'm not crazy. Right? Stop sharing. Man, I am
nice.
Good. I'm learning, man.
Oh, Louis sent it. He said,
okay,
Jimmy kicks butt on Histories with a Mystery.
Okay.
You're the best.
Okay. Lou will do anything for a T-shirt, man. That's proof positive right there.
And he makes awesome sweaters.
Yeah, what you see, you need a clean shirt once in a while. And if you can get it through Histories with the Mystery, and there you go, Lou. Wear it with pride. Shoot me an email and your address, and I'll get that off to you. How do you want it signed? You want it signed Lulu? How should I sign it? Christy, how should I sign Lulu?
No.
Is it?
It's just Louise, or maybe UCR.
Hey, so I saw the clip, the post. We'll come back to all of this. I actually want to ask. So you just did an appearance. You were a guest on. Was the show in Spain? Where was it?
It was maybe Planet, and they're a French.
Shows you how smart I am. It just.
Well, it hasn't aired yet. It won't be for another few weeks. So I
went to their website and I checked everything out. Why didn't look French? Are you sure?
Yeah, they were French.
They surrendered, Jimmy, live on the air. They were definitely French. So that's an inside joke. Did you do the interview in French?
No, it was in English.
Oh, okay.
No. My French is very poor.
Okay. Well, I saw that. Congratulations. I was thinking, man, multilingual out there, international, getting it done on a website. I can't read the language. That's impressive. That's impressive. I was pretty impressed.
No, I just speak Spanish, and even that, I'm like, I struggle. Even with my first and last name and my heritage, my Spanish is not to par.
Lulu. I'm going Lulu, man. I knew it. He gets it, man. He gets it. I like that. I want to be a guest on his show. I do. I think I wasn't I on there once with you?
Yeah, on the big phone home. That's how I first met you in person. I was, for those that don't know, I was already a fan of Jimmy for like years. I had listened to Fade to Black for years, and then I shot him a message on Twitter. And I'm like, hey, you should join the big phone home if you want.
Oh,
And
that's right.
Jimmy's
That's
like,
how
who is this person? I don't
how it
even
all
know you.
No, that's how it all started. And it was so funny too, because Christina's like, you got to follow me on Twitter. I need your cell phone number. I need to text you. I'm like, man, this is getting like you want all the secret digits. Who are you? Man, what's this?
The obsessive fan just came over and being like, I need everything.
I was like, oh man, I won't even tell anybody what I said. But yeah, that's how it all started. That's right. It was on his show, The Big Phone Home.
The big phone home. And then after I had Micah on my show for the very first time, and you were like, can I jump on and talk to Micah? And I was like, yeah, sure, anytime.
Right.
And then from there, that's how we got where we are today.
Yeah,
it's all a blur.
It's all a blur. There was a lot of things through that little period. Now I'm gonna say, that was probably 6 months ago,
Give or take.
maybe a little longer. It was a blur because things were happening fast.
Yeah,
things were jumping off, and we had not only Lulu, but the other one, Elizondo. We had things going on with Greer. We had live stream this, live stream that, events. We had the Pentagon. We had Lou's emails. We had, I mean, all this UAP. It was just absolute madness. You had McMillan doing his thing over at the debrief, breaking one story after another, and I could not keep up with it. Then the big phone home, and it was great. It was a blur, and through all of that, now I'm trying to navigate through this. Cristina comes along and says, "Hey, jump along with us millennials over here. We got some action going on, and I think it would be really cool." And I was just so impressed with the enthusiasm and the question marks over everybody's heads. Right, everybody's just wanting to know and trying to figure out. And it's an honor because I know what you guys are doing. You're sitting around and you say, "Hey, we got to get one of those old dudes in here." Because those old dudes know a lot. And if we can get one of those old dudes in here, maybe we can get some information out of them. And for some reason, you invited me along, and it's been a great run ever since. And the other part, and this is to everybody in the chat room, I would have thought that back then. Jason just popped 20. Okay. Oh, we got 2 other 20s. How many shirts am I sending out here? Okay, wait a minute. Click on these. What are we looking at?
Well, first I want to say thank you to Laszlo, and then Jason22 dropped another 20. Thank you so much, by the way.
Okay. And okay, so there's 3 20s up here.
No, it's just Lou and Jason. But let's jump into the next story that we have, and the one that's not too well known. And that's the disappearance of the United States Air Force B-47 Stratojet. And this one happened on March 10th, 1956. 3 United States Air Force personnel were lost with a Boeing B-47 Stratojet bound for Morocco from MacDill Air Force Base vanished over the Mediterranean Sea near the Algerian coast. And the aircraft was making the trip nonstop along with 3 other B-47s, which needed 2 aerial refueling. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen that. I definitely would love to see how they do that in the air. That just kind of blows my mind. Mm-hmm. But so then there ended up being 4 B-47s, and they descended through this kind of solid cloud layer to meet with a KC-97 tanker, but only 3 B-47s made it through the cloud layer.
Up. That's right.
Right. So there were 4. They went through a cloud, and only 3 showed up. And what's interesting about that is that the one that went missing carried material for 2 atomic cores that were also lost with the craft.
Mhm.
And there was no trace of aircrew or aircraft despite the search soon after. And this story was definitely kept hush hush just because it was carrying very secret, very secret information, that being the atomic core. The nice thing about that, though, is that even if that plane did crash, it would not explode because it wasn't activated just yet. But this is where it kind of brings back to a few stories that we've mentioned in the past where it comes to nuclear facilities and UFOs, which has been talked about consistently for decades. And it makes you question, okay, well, first of all, if extraterrestrials were involved in this particular story, what do they want with the atomic core? What do they want to do with it? Or did they already see it as a threat, even though it wasn't a threat just yet without other materials being attached to it? So that one, I feel like out of all the stories that we've read so far, that one has to be one of my favorites. I feel like that one leads a lot more into the UAP phenomenon, just simply based off of previous information that we've already obtained when it comes to nuclear weapons and UFOs.
That's right. Now, I love it when I say, let me be perfectly clear. If it's there, we find it. If it's not, we don't. The Mediterranean Sea, from the Straits of Gibraltar and Morocco all the way to Israel and Egypt, the Mediterranean Sea, which Algeria has a huge coastline, is the most traveled, most navigated, most mapped, most known water on Earth. That's it. That is it. Not the English Channel, not the Hudson River in New York, not the Sea of Japan, the Mediterranean Sea, where they invented boats. Now, let's just stay right here for a second. Every square in absolutely all of the Mediterranean Sea is not only mapped and navigated, but it is the most maritime boat traffic on Earth. That's it. You can't go anywhere in the Mediterranean without seeing another boat at the same time. I don't care where you are. No matter what, you're on a boat, no matter what you look, you're going to see another boat. Another boat. There's one behind you, another one in front of you. It doesn't matter. We're talking about Morocco, Italy, Malta, Greece, right? on and on. Libya, Egypt, and Israel, Lebanon. That's it. That you do not lose the biggest bomber in the world for no reason. And if the crash happens, it will be seen by thousands.
Without a doubt.
Thousands. Do you know what the coastline is like there? Do you know what the coastline? You go and look. If you go, I'm going to look at Algeria right now. I'm going to look at Algeria. I'm going to boost this up. Let's see. I would say that there is all the way to Tunisia, right? Spain is on the north side. It's just a few miles away, by the way. This is not literally, it's all there. And look at the amount of roads, coastline, homes, houses, and cities that goes on for almost 1,000 miles. Now they go from Morocco, flying over the Straits of Gibraltar into the Mediterranean Sea. At that point, do you know how many boats? And I'm not joking about this, that are cruise, because the Straits. Let me explain. So you have Morocco and the Straits of Gibraltar and Spain, and the way that they come together right there, it's a little tiny gap. And all of the boats from the Atlantic Ocean and from the Mediterranean, they need to go and funnel into that one spot and then pass each other. It's like the most busiest just absorb what I am saying. And at that point, you're going to lose an airplane. You can't lose anything. You can't lose a quarter in the water, in the ocean, without having somebody see it. It's the truth. It's a B-47, modern day, the most biggest modern aircraft that we had, period, carrying nuclear materials, 2 cores, and it just disappears. Doesn't come out of the clouds. I just like, stop with that. It's one of the most unbelievable cases there is. So I'll leave it with that. I just want everybody to understand we're not talking about in the middle of nowhere. We're talking about the most heavily maritime boat traffic on planet Earth right there, the Mediterranean and the Straits of Gibraltar. End of story.
And that's a fact, Jack. Laszlo says, Jimmy's deep voice gives me a chubby. I don't know what that means, but thank you so much.
Laszlo spent time in prison. See, and see, she doesn't even know Laszlo.
I don't know what that means.
Wow, I shouldn't even be laughing. But thank you for that, Laszlo. That's a compliment. Maybe Laszlo's a female. No, wait a minute. He said chubby though. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Anyways, so the next story is a missing Boeing 707 freighter. And on January 30th, 1979, a Boeing 707 freighter occupied by Brazilian airline Varig went missing over the Pacific approximately 30 minutes after taking off from Tokyo's International Airport on its way to Los Angeles International Airport. Aboard were 6 occupants and 153 paintings worth over $1.2 million.
That is
but
correct.
That would be about $4.3 million in about 2015. There was absolutely no emergency transmission was received, and there has been no trace of the aircraft. This one is pretty bizarre. I don't feel like it really follows any of the previous stories. One, you have paintings. Okay, well, that's an interesting one. 2,
Right.
Based off of the story, there was no bad weather. This is not a military craft. It's just an average. You're just like your average Joe. Okay, you're on a normal plane holding pretty expensive paintings, and that's about it. So it makes you question: is it possible that there could be a conventional explanation of a robbery, right? Maybe another plane took it over and stole all the paintings to sell it in the black market,
Right.
But if that were the case, I think it would be rather difficult to go ahead and try to hide such a big plane. Okay, because a Boeing 707 is rather large.
It's a big plane.
Yeah.
It was good enough for Elvis, and that's the amazing part about that plane. But let me just say this, and then do we have time to get to Malaysia?
Let's do it. If you got the time, I also have the time.
Okay, good. What am I doing tonight?
Oh, Fader night.
Oh yeah, we got time. It's just Fader night. Is if we go back when you have a plane that has disappeared, therefore you don't know what happened. You don't.
Right.
You don't. Right? You don't know if it's crash, mechanical, UFO, ET, vortex, suicide. What you don't know. Hit by a meteorite, right? You don't know these things. So therefore, the classification is cause unknown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Disappearance unknown. And just like that 1951 Canadian DC-4, the final report that was written up in 1974 by the Civil Aviation Authority out of the United Kingdom said that no traces of the aircraft or its occupants has been found to date. The cause of disappearance has not been determined. And that's how they have to classify this. It's a complete unknown. Just like this 707, when you have something that is absolutely disappeared, when you go and you look at some of these different cases, and we'll get on to Malaysia, but they always look at who was on the plane. Oh, we had some people from the United Nations. We had a military. We had a nuclear scientist. We had a computer designer, the head of a corporate. We have all, and suddenly the conspiracy theories come in. Oh, okay, so they were outed, they were down, they were suicided, they were crashed. You have all of this, and then you throw in something else, like in this case with the 707, priceless artwork. Right. And you have to go back and look at that. Well, I don't think any of that has anything to do with it, but they are trying to suggest something because they don't have the answers. Right. And it's one of the easiest things to do is when you look at Malaysia, when you look at that plane and you look at who was on the plane and suddenly, and you look at that list, is it coincidence? Well, now you have a lot of different opportunities or reasons or theories that can all come into play when you look at the list. But if you take the list out of the mix, you go into complete unknown. And let's talk about Malaysia for a second before we do start to run out of time.
Okay. Laszlo also says he wants your ramen recipe. I think
I've given the ramen recipe to Cristina, and you need to go through Cristina. Cristina, you are authorized to release said information.
The one with chili on it and Parmesan cheese?
That one's, well, that's that. Oh, actually, ooh, okay, that's all. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm going to do that right after the show. Oh, man.
There you go. You got to fuel up for Fader night.
Yeah. Okay. Malaysia. Thank you, Laszlo.
Thank you. All right. So this happened on March 8th in 2014 on the Malaysian Airlines flight 370, carrying 239 passengers in total, which is including 12 crew members. And what happened was they lost contact with air traffic control less than an hour after taking off from Kuala Lumpur, then veers off course and completely disappears. Most of the plane and everyone on board were never seen again. Now, when it states most of the plane, in 2015, there were about 300 pieces of debris being kind of scattered across the world where the area where it might have crashed, but there was never really sufficient amount of real evidence to say that it really did come from this craft in particular. But there were a lot of people searching for it. There was a lot of money involved in the search, but they still haven't found anything yet.
Okay. Can I jump in?
Go for it.
Okay. First off, this is one of the most investigated. I covered this extensively. Cases of commercial aircraft disappearance that's ever been covered. We all know the amount of countries that were involved, but this is why the case is mysterious. First off, plane's never been found. Okay, that's the first thing. But the plane took off from Kuala Lumpur on its way to, I believe, Vietnam, and is heading north. Makes a U-turn, right? Makes a U-turn. And at that point, now we have to remember, this part of the world, radar everywhere, military, defensive installations, absolute monitoring of all flight traffic, and there's constant radio contact with everybody as well as transponders and everything else. Very heavily trafficked part of the world. Okay, so you have that. pilot just decides to, turn off his radar, turn off his, his transponder, turn off his radio, makes a U-turn and heads away and heads back south, then goes west, then goes northwest. So he goes out, makes a U-turn, comes back and heads out, turns around and is being followed out. Now, at that point, everybody should be involved.
Right.
All nations, all things, all air forces, and that includes the United States and, of course, Australia and everything else. Anyway, so the plane then heads due south on its way to whatever, Antarctica. And nobody seems to know anything, right? Nothing at all. And this is where I call BS. The searches that went out for Malaysia 370, all hands on deck, right? And you had United States, Russia, Australia, India, Malaysia. Anybody that had a boat, anybody that had a plane, period, was flying resources and getting things and getting out. Submarines, everything is in play. They are searching a huge section of the Indian Ocean. Now, but here's the deal. I don't think any of that matters. This plane, an Airbus, has Rolls-Royce engines. Let me continue. Those engines in the leasing contract that you do as an airline company with a modern airplane like this, you get maintenance. Okay? You've got a pretty good maintenance program. And on that, I'm not just stay with me.
Okay.
On those engines, I'm talking about the engines, not the plane, where the plane counts. Okay? But those engines are sending out telemetry to satellites, and they are going back to Rolls-Royce headquarters. And they know the status of every Rolls-Royce engine that is turned on and started in the world. And that aircraft, they know exactly where it is. Now, suddenly, and all the telemetry, they know what's going on. They're able to, and suddenly, all of this data from a modern Airbus, all of the telemetry that's going back to Airbus, the status of the plane, this, that, everything about it is monitored. It's tracked. Suddenly, the information is, well, it was in a weird part of the world where we got nothing. Stop with that. Like, there's no satellites. There's nothing, to say that an aircraft just cannot be seen in this part of the world today. An Airbus, a commercial Airbus airliner full of people is suddenly not monitorable, and that the pilot is able to hit the off switch and the plane becomes invisible. I call BS. I call BS on all of it. And in today's world, today, this is 2014, this is like it happened yesterday, that we don't have the ability to know where a plane goes down in the ocean anywhere on this planet. No, it's BS. It's BS. After it's down, if those engines are freaking out, right? They're being flooded with water because the plane's going down. Rolls-Royce knows. They know in real time. It's unbelievable. And for me, and this modern plane, pinging any type of emergency beacon, anything on this plane, which is all over the plane. Suddenly, I'm not talking about the black box. I'm talking about everything else. They can't find it, right? I'm just completely blown away, and I'm still as perplexed today as I was when this event was going down. There is absolutely no excuse for this.
There isn't. And
it was a Boeing 777-200ER with Rolls-Royce engines. Even worse, Zenzabil. Yeah, he's right. It was a Boeing 777. I said Airbus. It doesn't matter. My point is those Rolls-Royce engines. And you know what? By taking it to the next level, Bill, and letting me know that it was the most modern aircraft in the world, the Boeing 777 does. It absolutely completes my thought. I apologize for incorrectly saying Airbus. I'm sorry, Airbus. Sorry about that, Airbus.
And what's bizarre about that case is, right, no one was really aware of what this pilot was doing, kind of going against course practically. So the plane departed at 12:41 a.m. and at 1:19, the last thing that people on the other side heard was "Good night, Malaysian 370," right? And it sounded pretty normal. The pilot said that because obviously when you're flying at that time of night, or I guess morning, people are going to be falling asleep. So everything seemed completely normal to everyone that was listening in on this conversation. I guess it's not a conversation, but you know what I mean. And on top of that, what's so mysterious about this case as well is that not only there were no distress calls, right? There was no report of bad weather, and there were no technical problems either. So usually those would be kind of like easy things to say and be like, oh, maybe it crashed and disappeared, or maybe it disappeared because of A, B, and C. But when the story was being researched, all of those things checked out. And it makes me question, one, why did the pilot go against course? Especially when at this time in 2014, a lot of the things that they do is automated. Okay.
Right.
Like you don't even have to touch it until you're departing and you're landing.
Right.
You can check it here and there, but you don't really have to pay that. It's not as hard as it used to be several decades ago. So that's kind of where my questions go. Why was the pilot doing that? And then obviously, where did it end up? Because again, in 2015 and a few years later, there were about 300 pieces of debris found from this Malaysian airline. But where is the bulk of it? Or did that part disappear? Well, maybe it was like going through a wormhole or something. I don't know.
Exactly. Here's the really crazy part, and I bring up the Rolls-Royce engines and telemetry and monitoring and the things that you pay for by an airline for situations like this. There needs to be backup and backup and backup for any little thing that goes wrong with the plane. You need to know what's happening with it,
Right.
so it can be fixed when it lands. And that's all part of the maintenance contract, and all airlines have that today. Okay, but here's the rub. When that pilot, especially after 9/11, okay, when that pilot makes his U-turn, right there, we're talking about Malaysia, Singapore, right there. I mean, just right there. When that pilot makes the U-turn, every F-16, right, every F-16 from the Gulf of Thailand to the Indian Ocean, from Singapore to everything there should have been scrambled. I'm talking about Cambodia, Vietnam, right? Every F-16 and every Air Force should have been on the tail of that airline, wondering what was going on. So you're going to go drive this into a skyscraper? Is it hostages on board? Is the pilot flying the plane? Is it terrorist activity? Is it something else? Why, with all the standards that we have today in the airline industry, knowing the events that happened in the United States in September of 2001, that plane at that moment, you would think that every Air Force would have scrambled jets and followed that thing and to make sure that the people on board were safe, and they were trying to figure out what was going on. None of that happened. This plane flew until it disappeared by itself. It doesn't, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. None whatsoever. And I think all of us, Cristina, and I did this live on the air, and following this. And I remember I was on Coast to Coast that week too as well, talking about this. Every single day, following up reports, including that first night, about the explanations from these countries where every single person, everybody said the same, don't know. It was just flying. It's gone. How is that? I mean, how is that possible? I don't get it. Some of the other explanations for this, I was totally open to. You know, it was flown to Diego Garcia, and it was flown to whatever, another foreign country, and it was seen parked on a runway, and there was this and there. You know what? With the way that it disappeared and how this went down, and nobody had any explanations, I felt then, and I haven't changed too much, that anything is possible here. I don't know what happened to the plane, but anything is possible. And then, of course, right after that, another Malaysian 777 was shot down.
That's right. That is right. And that was near Ukraine, right?
Yeah, that was Ukraine. That was over Ukrainian territory, and we don't know if it was the Russians or I think now we know it was the Russians that shot the plane down. But, I think Air Malaysia had, I think they had like 10 planes, 10. And in this very short time span, in a couple of months, two, what are the odds of that? I mean, what really are the odds of that? You have a very small commercial aircraft company like that, and to have two Boeing 777 shot down, or I mean, two disappeared, one was shot down. It was still shocking.
It is, and it's really bizarre that even 24 nations went to go attempting to go look for this craft, and nothing was found. Even again with the technology that we have today, that's pretty bizarre. Now, Jimmy, I know that you have a show to prepare for. Can you tell the viewers who don't know what Fader Night means?
Fader Night is open. Fader Night. No, let me tell you what it means. Fader Night is the coolest, bestest, greatest night in all of talk radio in all of the world. That's what Fader Night is. It's open lines. Come by, hang out. I just take phone calls, unscreened, unfiltered, and I just hang out and talk with our audience with whatever they want to talk about. It could be the excellence of Apple Jolly Ranchers. It could be that. It could be that. UFOs, time travel. We had a great show last night on time travel. I would love to continue that tonight, but whatever anybody wants to talk about, and that's what we do for 3 hours every single Thursday night, and it's the way that I wrap up my week, and it truly sets the tone for Friday. So there you go. And that's tonight in about 2.5 hours. Am I right about that? Yeah, it's 4:18 here. Yeah, about 2.5 hours. After I have my ramen, chili, and Parmesan cheese.
Deborah says, Jimmy, that Russian accent was a little too good. Now we know.
Yeah. Actually, that was my German accent, but it works. It depends. I've no idea. It's the fakest thing I ever said. But Cristina, I have so much fun with you, and we did a little overtime tonight. But really missed hanging out, and I hope that everybody had a great holiday. And here we are. This is the crazy part. It's December 2nd, right? We are at the end of 2021. We're about to bounce into 2022. 2 years of world history gone. It's like I don't remember any of it.
Probably for the better.
Yeah, I know. It's like it never happened. So 2022, I said this about 2021. I said this about 2020. It can't get here fast enough. But this time around, man, let's go. Let's speed this thing up. Let's get to December 31st. And but I love it. This is the best time of the year. I love the weather. I love the food. I love the music. I love the celebration. Of course, Christmas, and then following that up with New Year's. It's a time to celebrate and hang out with friends and family, and it's December. I mean, I can't believe it. And so maybe tonight on the show I'll play some Twisted Sister Christmas music. But I'll see everybody tonight. Christina, thank you so much.
Thank you. Wait, before you go, you gotta listen to this comment, and then yeah, it says Richard Godfrey of the non-government MH370 independent group on Wednesday said he was very confident new mapping technology had pinpointed the messenger plane's crash site 2,000 kilometers west of Perth. I didn't know
We
that.
shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, I guess we will see. Hopefully Richard will be right, and that they'll find the craft. And
Well,
talking about.
Took 7 years. Come on, man. They didn't want to find it. I hope they do. I hope that all those families, they need closure, and I couldn't just fathom going through that. No. So let's hope they do find it and we get some closure for those families. There you go.
I sure do hope so. And one more thing before you go, Jimmy. Last thing for those that might not know. I know you're ready to go.
No,
But
I'm good. Let's just go.
it's just one question. For those that don't know, where can they listen to your show today?
UHF channel 53. Rabbit ears. You need the UHF antenna, but you can dial in and catch it there. It's all simple. If you go to, I'm in a great mood. I'm back with Christina. Whew, man, I was having withdrawals, man. Just go to the website, jimmychurchradio.com, and whatever it is that you like to listen to or watch your media, we're on that network. Okay, but KUNX, UNXnetwork.com is great. TalkStream Live, jimmychurchradio.com. If you want to watch video, there's YouTube, there's Facebook. You can go to our membership area and sign up for that and have access to the bunker cam. You can watch it there. And any other number of iHeartRadio and all that stuff. You can go and listen. But just go to the website, and I would suggest doing that, or unxnetwork.com. Your new home, Christina. What night do you open for me?
On Tuesdays.
On Tuesday nights. And who did you have on this week?
This week I had Ross Coldheart.
Man, you got the A-list guest. See, I mean, you need to save some for me. You know, I mean, you get Ross, or you probably had somebody like Avi Loeb lately. Have you had Avi too?
I did, but that was a while back.
That was just a while back. I had Avi. So who else? Who's next week?
Oh, it's a surprise.
Who's next?
It's a surprise. I can't tell you just yet. But you know what? You will be the first to know. Thank you so much, Jimmy, for joining me yet again for another episode of Mysteries with a History. I will see you tonight on Fader Night.
See ya.
Bye, Jimmy. I did it again, guys. I did it again when I wanted to take him off, and I took myself off the stream. But I wanted to tell you a really quick story before we go. So Jimmy talked about Christmas music, and I'm going to be honest with you. I am not a fan of Christmas music, but I am one of those people. I am that person that went to the grocery store on Thanksgiving Day because I forgot that one ingredient. So now I was just enjoying my time at the grocery store, looking for that one ingredient, minding my own business in a very empty place, which was fantastic. They were playing Christmas music. I don't know about you, but I think that is against the law. I feel like you should go to prison if you play Christmas music on Thanksgiving Day. And here is Jimmy laughing his head off. I'm so serious. I was very upset. But Jimmy's should be getting ready for his show.
The highlight of my year is the day that Christmas music starts playing. That is, I just know. One day, you will say the words that I am saying now. You will say it. I'm telling you, Christina, you will absolutely say it. I cannot wait till the day after Thanksgiving. I can't wait. You're turning.
But it happened the day of Thanksgiving, like
All
the
the better.
morning of.
That's a day early. Good. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. Don't tell me that you're upset that Charlie Brown Christmas is playing again, or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is on TV.
Luckily, I don't have cable, so I don't have to go through that misery to like flip through the channels. Anyways, that is it for today's show. Jimmy's got things to do. We got to close up the
They're
show.
going to retract the donations. There's a minus button. Bap, 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 bap. I didn't say it. That's not me. That's my co-host. Send the email to gomez@gmail.com. Send that stuff that way, because I'm all about the Saint Nick.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I like Christmas. I like the holidays. I don't like the Christmas music because it's the same thing every single year.
Check it out. You want to see Christmas guitars?
Okay.
You want to see Christmas guitars?
Yeah.
Everybody want to see watch this. This is how Christmassy I am.
What did I start? I didn't think he was gonna be backstage, but it's fine. We all love Jimmy.
Ho friggin' ho. Ho, ho, ho. All right. That's how Christmassy I am. All right. All right. All right. I gotta go. I got a show tonight. Christina.
Go.
I will see you there. Do not hit the wrong button. I'm out of here. I'm gonna click. What if I just click buy? Can I just click buy and I'm gone?
You can.
And hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
I'm out, people. You guys, I'll see you tonight on the show. Great show, Christina. You're the best. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jimmy. Bye. Oh, you pressed the right button. Okay, so I had told myself, do not press the wrong button to take off Jimmy. And I did the literal opposite because I wanted to tell you the story of what happened on Thanksgiving Day. That was an instant mistake for 2 reasons. And I think we both know those 2 reasons. Anyways, back to this. That is it for today's show. It is always amazing to have Jimmy talk for his insights, his knowledge, and for always joining me every single week. I want to thank everyone in the live chat, everyone who gave super chats and super stickers, all of my Patreons. Thank you so, so much. And if you liked this show, if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with those that are interested in this subject. I will see all of you guys next week on Mysteries with a History. And remember, keep your eyes on the skies.